I'm so confident that XRP will hit new all-time highs in 2025 that I'm going all in. I have no dry gunpowder left. This is a high conviction play for me, especially now that XRP is at a critical level, one that we will talk about more later in this video, and one that requires some guts to get behind. If anything, as XRP continues to trend up, I'm looking for more ways to stack into my XRP bag and double down. However, let me be clear, this is not financial advice, and I don't recommend you do the exact same thing. Talk to a financial advisor before you make some big decisions. This is for informational and educational purposes only, and everything in this video is my opinion. Now, for almost 7 years, XRP has been one of the most controversial tokens in the entire crypto space. Back in 2018, it garnered international attention after pumping a whopping 58,000% in a single year, from under a penny to $3.31. This type of performance and its tech stack created for one of the strongest communities of supporters and investors in all of crypto. However, no strong community is without its pros and cons. One of the largest cons to a strong community base is the fact that there's a lot of search volume. And this search volume is what leads a lot of crypto influencers to spread baseless claims and misinformation, or take information and embellish it in order to get clicks and gain followers. For example, time and time again, people have taken the Amazon AWS partnership program, screenshotted it, and then make a statement about how now Amazon is partnering with Ripple to use XRP for all of their real-time payments. And just think about how big that business would be using XRP. However, anyone can go and create a partner profile on AWS as long as they are a business. Ripple so happened to have one, but that doesn't mean Amazon is confirmed to use it, and this is really old news, which ultimately did not lead to a price pump. Then very recently, another major rumor started making its rounds on X, as Elon Musk is rumored to prepare to invest a jaw-dropping $104 billion into XRP, and a lot of people believe it's true because they don't even do their homework. Here it's on Binance.com, so it must be true, right? No, this is literally a community post that is complete and total fabrication. In order to just buy Twitter, we're talking about a $44 billion purchase where he had to finance the majority of it and needed a lot of partnerships. $104 billion is extremely difficult to get access to, and this is to simply buy a token. We're not talking about entire business model. However, this is one of those posts I'd call a complete lie. And finally, the infamous XRP to 589, which has now become a total joke, and people use it all the time as a funny post when XRP starts to send. In other words, all of these claims are either lies, outrageous, or complete conjecture, which are opinions based on incomplete evidence. But the final nail in the coffin happened in 2020 when haters had all of the ammunition they needed to crap on XRP when the SEC began its assault. This led to the subsequent 6.8-year descending wedge or triangle, one that we recently broke out above for the very first time. Now, at first glance, XRP pumping a whopping 1,884% plus to $26.80 doesn't sound crazy when you consider past moves. For example, the very first move that happened in February of 2017 into May was a whopping 7,200%. Even the extremely weak move of 2021 put in a 1,600% gain. And this was smack dab in the center of that SEC lawsuit. So when all is said and done, an 1,800% gain for a $26 move doesn't seem that crazy, considering, again, we broke out for the very first time after 6.8 years. Now, the biggest reason people believe it's going to hit at least $26 this time around is because they took a fib scale from the top of the previous move in November of 2013. And if you drag that down to the local lows right here, you can see the 1618 range takes us to that first major high of 42 cents. The next major move put us up to that 2.27 range. However, I'm not even going to consider that realistic this time around. We're looking at the 1618 region right here. So I'm going to delete that now. We're going to do the exact same thing from the previous all-time high to the local low right here. And as you can see, when I take it and drag it to the very local low from the local all-time high, that it would put us at the 1618 for $26.80. But is that possible? So in this video, I'll be covering the latest news surrounding Ripple, why I'm going all in right now, and how the timing of this trade is critical. I'll be covering the actual economics of the token to share with the community whether or not it's possible for XRP to do this type of a move up to $26.80 some cents. And the reason I'm sharing these numbers is because we constantly have community members reaching out and asking, how high do we think XRP is going to pump this cycle? And when should they sell? So in this video, I'll aim to give you a reasonable timeline and a legitimate price prediction based on all of the key factors we're going to cover in the video, so you can walk away feeling more knowledgeable and have a solid game plan to manage your XRP positions through this bull run. And as always, my friend, if you're feeling blessed and bullish, comment 777. And if you're going to be the wealthiest person in your family tree, smash the subscribe button. Hello and welcome back to the Bull Runners channel. My name is Paul if you're new here. And as of recently, we did experience a bit of a sell-off, at least this morning, where many people believed the price was going to break out from about $1.40 back up to the recent high of $1.63. And so we dumped about 12% in a single 4 to 6 hour period. Since the price touched that $1.28 range, we've actually started pumping again. However, the volume was really quite tremendous right here at the local low of $1.28. So I would say that that seems to be a strong support, and the price has now come back into that $1.40 range, and it has failed to break back into the $1.44 range. Now, since the local high of about $1.63, we have painted a new descending triangle, but when you start to see moves like this, and generally speaking, the trend is your friend until the bend at the end, I do not believe we've hit the bend at the end. If anything, we're seeing an expansion or a growth in volume and a crazy amount of volume right here on the hourly time frame, which was our previous local high of about $1.27 to $1.28. So it's safe to say, although we have failed to break to a new high, things are looking pretty good for XRP. Now, the major reason that we've sold off right here at the $1.60 some cent range is because, as you can see here, our previous pump, even though we didn't hit $2, was around here at the $1.60 some cent range. So over and over and over again, I will always state, when in doubt, zoom out. If you're not too sure when to take profit or when to look at a range that's extremely important for markets and participants, just zoom out. And as you can see here, we had quite a bit of resistance here before breaking down, and this was obviously the 2021 high. However, when you zoom out even further, you can see that overall, this is a very, very strong move and a breakout above a long-term descending wedge or a triangle. So a breakout like this is not only bound to get some support here, but eventually break right back above that $2 range for a new all-time high. And although we just mentioned $26.80 seems to be a target that folks are talking about, is it actually possible and realistic? Well, we're going to cover a few of these factors or potential catalysts that could lead to a price like this and some XRP news. But before we do, if you haven't already, head on over to bullrunners.com to learn how to do technical analysis like a pro and learn how to look at charts exactly how I've been so far. And once you're on the other side, you'll see this 26-minute video where we explain everything that you get inside of Altcoin Pro University, which is our one-stop shop or our Costco of crypto education. And when you join as one of the first 1,000 members, you're going to get access to some special bonuses that nobody else is ever going to get again. Now, this is completely gone once we are past that 1,000 member mark. And so far in the last week and a half to 2 weeks, we have onboarded 413 members, and the number is going to continue to climb as this bull run is underway. But not only will you learn technical analysis from pros, you're going to be able to get on live calls with people like us in order to answer your questions and do live analysis of the markets that you simply wouldn't get on a YouTube channel. You're going to learn how to get access to DeFi yields that are some of the best in the entire industry. We're going to show you how to get airdrops. In other words, free crypto money. You're going to get access to a complete and comprehensive library, over 100 hours of classes from industry-wide experts and people that are actually building the crypto technologies in the field. What's new, what's up and coming, where the money is flowing, and we're even going to show you altcoin picks that perform extremely well. So if this all sounds interesting to you and you don't want to miss out on those bonuses, go ahead and head on over to bullrunners.com. Again, link is in the description below. Let's get back into the video. Okay, so before we dive into some of those key pieces of news, and in specific, some folks that are talking about the potential size of the market in terms of Bitcoin and crypto, I think it's important that we start with Bitcoin because Bitcoin is the mothership to crypto. In other words, if Bitcoin is not in a healthy market environment and it's not performing well, literally nothing else will. And I don't care how much people try to bounce around that fact, they just don't know the market well. I've been in this market since 2015 to 2016, and in almost every single environment where Bitcoin was in a bull market or outperforming the market earlier in the cycle, it provided room for the rest of the market to grow. Something I consistently say on this channel is that a rising tide raises all ships. So you want to see Bitcoin start to perform well in order for everything else to perform well. A lot of that money then rotates from Bitcoin into virtually all of the major market cap cryptos and then all the smaller market cap altcoins. That said, as you can see here, we did break out above this descending channel and we broke out on some tremendous volume, some of the biggest volume that Bitcoin has ever seen for a 3-week period. And this is what led Bitcoin to hit a total dominance of 61% of the entire market. That means of all of the money in the crypto market, 61% of it was in Bitcoin's market cap. Now, why is this important? Because we're going to cover some potential price targets from experts in the crypto field for Bitcoin, and then we're going to correlate that down to XRP based on the XRP dominance to try to get a realistic target into the future, and also why I believe right now would be a good time to buy based on the technical analysis. But first and foremost, let's get into these videos. And in this first very fuzzy video from Michael Saylor, here is his prediction on the potential size of Bitcoin over the next 2 decades.
Bitcoin's 0.1% of the capital in the world right now. I think it's going to go to 7% of the capital.
7%.
My long-term forecast is it's going to go to 13 million over 21 years.
However, it's important to remember that although Michael Saylor has been consistently correct in terms of how Bitcoin is going to perform, I think $13 million is an absolutely insane prediction, and that's obviously not this next year. However, because he's extra bullish, he believes that Bitcoin will hit between $1 to $2 million in 2025-2026. A more realistic price target comes from someone from Pantera named Dan Moorhead, and this is what he has to share.
And that puts it at 15 trillion market cap, which it still seems relatively small versus 500 trillion of financial assets. That's doable.
And a $15 trillion market cap for Bitcoin, which is up about 10x from here, would put us about $745,000 per Bitcoin. Now, when you take into consideration the market dominance or the average market dominance, which right now we're trending pretty high up, sometimes it'll come back down. Let's just assume that the average market dominance for Bitcoin is about 50%. Now, here we have the XRP market dominance. And as you can see here, I have a red line at about that 3% range. Typically, it'll bounce up and above and below this 3% range. So I'm just going to assume that XRP into the future is going to find a way to maintain about 3% of the market dominance. This would mean that if the entire crypto market was $1 billion, XRP's value would be about 3% of that. Well, in the case that Bitcoin truly did hit a $15 trillion market cap and each Bitcoin was worth $745,000, I went ahead and used a bit of math on ChatGPT to make life simple. Assuming Bitcoin dominance remains at 50%, XRP sits at about 3%, and Bitcoin hit about $745,000, the XRP price would be about $17, which is still a little bit low or off from that $26 target. This would put the XRP market cap at about $900 billion, which sounds pretty insane. And I'm not saying it's outside of the realm of possibility or potential. However, that's about half of the current market cap of Bitcoin. And right now, Bitcoin dominates the market, considering it is $1.8 trillion, and XRP isn't even 5% of that total market cap. So then I went and ran the numbers for the $26.80 target, and that would put the XRP market cap at about $1.4 trillion, which is just below the current Bitcoin market cap of 1.8. I'm not saying that this isn't possible, but I highly doubt it's going to happen this time around, considering this would put it at about 10% of my actual projected market cap for the entire crypto market in 2025 to 2026. I expect the entire crypto market cap to reach about $10 to $15 trillion. $15 trillion on our best scenario and $10 trillion on the lower end. So although I'm not saying it's impossible for XRP to hit $26.80, I think it's also important to understand when and when not to use a Fibonacci tool such as this to get a price target, because at the end of the day, this is quite a sizable market cap. One, I just don't know where all of that money is going to come from. However, a more reasonable target would be in that 127 range for about $8 down to $5.20 some cents. And not only would this put us into a reasonable market cap, but this is also a very large price for a market that's already really large. Now here shortly, I'm going to explain why I think we are at a critical level for XRP and how I expect the market to respond over the upcoming days. But I think one of the biggest pieces of news to come out recently is that yet another asset manager, WisdomTree, which manages $112 billion, just registered for a spot XRP ETF. So now this is the fourth among other major players to file, and I expect BlackRock to be filing very shortly, and I do believe that will pump the price of XRP, considering this is still a small asset manager relative to the size of someone like BlackRock, who almost always gets approved. So now let's just do a little bit of analysis into futures and on-chain. As you can see here, I have a chart on XRP. The white line is the price of XRP, and this purple line is the exchange reserves. Since the local lows on XRP and back in September of this year, you can see that XRP has consistently risen in terms of the amount of XRP available on exchanges. This is typically indicative of profit taking. In other words, people want to deposit onto exchanges to take profits as the price rises. And since this moment in time here, you can see that now XRP is officially being removed from exchanges as the price dumps. In other words, people now believe that these prices are good to accumulate into and want to hold on to their XRP into a future pump. In other words, positive for the price of XRP. Now here I have some futures data on the price of XRP from Binance, which hosts the largest futures market in the world. And as you can see here, since the local highs on the price of about $1.63 on XRP, the entire market has seen less and less open interest. This is indicative of less leverage inside of the system. And this is very positive for something like XRP. You don't want to see too much leverage, because then you're going to see far wilder swings and price volatility. So now that I see this double bottom in the price right here and here, I'm looking to see XRP supported as leverage leaves the system. And right down here on this guy, you can see that all of these big green candles are indicative of long liquidations. So we've had far more liquidations on the long side recently than we've had on the short side. Again, we don't want too much leverage on the long side, because that will force the price further down in the case that they are wrong and everyone gets liquidated. And then you see cascading liquidations further and further and further down. We don't want a ton of leverage. Instead, we want the price to climb naturally in a safe and healthy manner. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. And it's not just XRP. The entire crypto market is seeing a bit of a reset, as recently short-term holders panic sold 54.6K BTC in the last 24 hours. And as you can see here, that is the largest amount of Bitcoin that was panic sold since before September and this price discovery. So this is again a very positive indicator that we are getting a reset for a new uptrend and a healthy move to the upside. I'm liking everything that I'm seeing on all of the charts in terms of leverage and weak holders leaving the system. So with all of that leverage leaving the system and the price pumping and now recently dumping, we have failed to see XRP break below this 10 EMA on a daily time frame. Again, we had this really strong crossover and arguably a deviation between the 10 and 20 EMA, which is this orange line, but we are currently seeing some support down here at the 10 EMA. And even though the price can go a little bit lower, I don't expect too much lower. And I still will continue to accumulate down to that $1.29 to 28 cent range, and potentially even the $1.10 range. However, as you can see here, we've had a stupid amount of sell volume right here. And when you take a look at the stochastic RSI, we have not reached the bottom just yet, but when we do, I expect this thing to flip right over and for the price to start climbing yet again. When you zoom out though, we do have a bit of resistance at that $1.60 some cent range. So my next major target, once we break above there, would be right here at the $2 range or the $1.96 range. And realistically, after that 6.8 year consolidation, I don't expect for us to hang out there too long, considering our next major target would be the previous all-time high. Now, by now and the time that we actually cover these prices, I'm pretty sure we're going to have more videos. So I'm not going to go and say this is going to happen this week. But what I am really focused on is accumulating between this blue line to this orange line on the 10 and 20 EMA. As things stand, this is a very healthy pullback. We're seeing leverage leave the system. We're seeing more and more bullish news surrounding XRP and spot ETFs, and nothing that I am seeing is causing me any fear or panic in order to sell. In other words, when other people are selling and panicking, you should be greedy. And this is exactly why we are at a crucial level where you need to be greedy, because we might not get another pullback like this for quite some time until we break down or up to that $3.30 some cent range. So if you enjoyed the video and you learned something new, be sure to subscribe to the channel. It helps us out. And also, one last time, if you wanted more information on Altcoin Pro University and everything that we offer, head on over to bullrunners.com. You can find the link in the description below. Here's a 26-minute video that explains it. We currently have about 412 to 413 members. And once we hit 1,000 members, the bonuses run dry. So if you've been thinking about it or you simply want more information, head on over to bullrunners.com to get your questions answered. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.